Okay guys, before we get going, I just want to clarify a few things. It's super late. I'm basically on the precipice of death trying to finish this video. Secondly, I do not talk to teams. So this NBA mock draft, it's totally who I think they should take. If I get them wrong, I really don't care. This is just what I think. Let's have a good time. Thumbs up, let's do this. Leroy Jenkins, hell yeah, let's go. Even though I bow diligently at the altar of Luka Doncic, and I have him as the top player on my personal board, he's arguably on equal ground in terms of risk as Ayton. And Ayton fits better with the Phoenix Suns pieces currently. So I think that he's going to be irresistible, and I think the Suns are going to take him at number 1. And they probably should. Luka's playmaking would fit with Sacramento's shooting and existing strengths. He will elevate their current personnel. Prediction: the Kings are going to be one of the best league pass teams of 2018 and 19 if they take Luka. I'm so high on this kid that everyone around me is in danger of getting a contact bus. The fumes are wafting into the street. The cops have been called. I need a big bag of Cool Ranch Doritos. I am so high on Luka. New Hawks coach Lloyd Pierce has gone on record saying that defense is his entire identity, and that's what he is about. You guys know that Bagley is my guy. He and Luka are on the top of my personal big board, and I have my reservations about Jaren Jackson Jr. in terms of his skill level and his ability not to foul. But this pick just lines up too perfectly for the Hawks. Jackson Jr. is going to be a great defensive pairing with John Collins, and I think it's going to be a great building block for them going forward. So that's the pick. Granted, I'm no GM, but roster construction seems like it's a lot like the creative process. Sometimes it can be better to get 30% into something and have the courage to say, this ain't working. I do it in bananagrams all the time, and that's why I'm so good at it. Bagley is the perfect guy to put next to Marc Gasol. That'll work immediately. I have Bagley as number 2 on my big board. He's a solid piece to build around, and I think that he has a chance to be Rookie of the Year next year. And it's not like there are examples of Rookies of the Year going south after winning that award, right? This is a controversial pick because I actually think that Wendell Carter Jr. is top to bottom going to be a better player than Jaren Jackson. But Jaren Jackson's not going to be there, and maybe they won't have the stomach for Bamba. So I have the Mavs in this mock draft taking Carter. In Carter, you get a 6'11 small ball 5 with good defensive instincts and the ability to stretch that I only think is going to get stretchier. Tons of offensive flexibility around the rim in his bag. Personality questions, but Wendell Carter Jr. is a pretty complete player for a 19-year-old. I'm high on it. This one's been coming for a while. We all saw it coming miles and miles down the road. I'm not terribly high on Trey as a player long-term and as a potential star, but the Magic might have the right combination of athletic wing defenders to hide him to a tolerable degree. The Magic fans are lost in the wilderness, and they're looking desperately for nourishment for their basketball stomachs. Hopefully years from now they don't find themselves like the guy from Into the Wild who realizes that he ate something that is going to kill him. The Bulls were one of the worst teams in the league last year on both sides of the ball, so one of the higher upside players in the draft at this spot could make sense. Bamba would pair well with the stretch shooting of Lauri Markkanen and balance the rim protection that he lacks. They will not be good this upcoming year. It's like we've talked about, Bamba's going to get a chance from somebody, and his upside is high, so I think that the Bulls could be a potential candidate here. No player in this draft is bringing LeBron back to Cleveland, in my opinion. We don't have anybody quite that good. If LeBron does indeed leave, the Cavs could probably stand to lean into rebuild mode on draft night. Drafting a potential star is a great way to do that. Porter's unanswered questions in his game could be wildly affected by that back. How much of that stiffness in his game has been alleviated by the surgery? We'll find out, but he could be the steal of the draft.
The Knicks should get the best player in this year's draft, Luka Doncic. They should trade up to number 4, take on Parsons' crazy contract from Memphis, establish a young core of Doncic, Porzingis, Ntilikina, then somehow convince Dolan to sell the team. This is all predicated on Atlanta not taking Doncic at number 3. It's all a crapshoot. I just don't want them at number 9. Why can't they lose more? If they lost more, they would have a higher pick. We wouldn't even have to worry about this.
I have Sexton as the third point guard in the draft, but I don't think pairing Shea with Frankie Nicotine would be the move, and I don't think that Trae Young will be available. So Sexton's energy and enthusiasm would be a fantastic fit for the rudderless Knicks, and a great locker room guy with a high defensive and playmaking ceiling. Why not? I've gone on record saying that I think that the Sixers galaxy is 2 huge planets with a lot of smaller pieces orbiting. An offensive creator away from Simmons and Embiid could be the perfect piece to take their spacing to the next level. If the Sixers expect Fultz to become the guy that they thought he would, I expect them to go with a wing here. I've also made the argument that Knox has the highest offensive ceiling between he, Miles, and Mikal. Also younger and won't be relied on to constantly have the ball in his hands, which makes me think that he could thrive with the Sixers. I have an issue with ball dominance and a lack of playmaking at the point of attack. If the defense knows that the primary ball handler is score first, that trickles down. A pass first, playmaking minded point guard that can score would do wonders for the Hornets roster composition. At 13, to get a pick and roll point guard of that size who can hit open shots and contribute to a good locker room, I think that's a steal. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a great pick for the Hornets. He could also elevate Malik Monk and not make that pick seem like such a waste. Clippers have the ability to bet big with these 2 picks and possibly trade them, but they also could get younger in the process. Since Montrezl Harrell and Robert Williams are essentially the same player, I don't see that as the best move. So I see them taking a pretty safe bet like Mikal Bridges there. Walker has the bounce and the scoring ability to hang around on NBA teams for years. He's a potential star. Great range with a quick release and hair that could pair with Elfrid Payton to recreate the cover of Meet the Deedles. Miles Bridges is the perfect fit for Denver here. He's an excellent, rugged, explosive athlete with a good feel for the game, and he's blooming as a shooter. He fits need and still projects to have a pretty promising upside. The Wizards need to get more athletic in their front court. You heard it from John Wall himself. Now here's my buddy Kendall, the grumpiest Wizards fan out there, on the state of the franchise and the Wizards draft needs.
The current and future state of the Washington Wizards are doomed as long as Ernie Grunfeld remains the GM. We all know about the all-star backcourt, but the front court is one of the worst in basketball, reserves included. With that said, keep the pick and draft a fucking big man!
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would have been a good fit at 16 for the Suns, but he likely won't be there. Okobo is a 6'2 guard with a promising frame and is not as far behind Sexton, Trae Young, and Shai as people might think. He could end up as one of the steals of the draft, and I think he'd be a great fit with Phoenix. Huerter's fluidity as an athlete and soft shooting at 41% from 3 would give the Bucks a quick catch-and-shoot threat to pull gravity away from their primary scorers. And since we don't know what's happening with Jabari Parker, it would provide much-needed depth at wing. Hutchison has Spurs written all over him to me. 6'7" with 3-and-D potential. Reminds me a little bit of Danny Green, actually. He's on the old side. The old side actually sounds like a great TV show where I interview prospects and really go overboard about how old they are. Back in my day, Kanye actually made music they considered other people. Chandler is a college senior, but he's a fluid, efficient scorer at 20 points per game that also got on the glass and got 7.7 rebounds per game. I think he'd be a great Spur. I'll be honest, I'm not terribly high on Zaire Smith. I'm leery of the freakish athlete that can't confidently shoot threes and has underdeveloped ball skills. If there were any time to come into the NBA if you didn't have great ball skills, now is not the time. Is he better than KJ McDaniels? Is he better than Hamidou Diallo? The Hawks are not in a position to worry about a gamble, so Zaire falling to them at 19 could be a good risk. We're getting into the range of semi-indiscernible wings who mainly just hit threes. The big Ragu strikes me as the kind of fiery guy that Tom Thibodeau loves, and he's a proven shot maker. Honestly, there's not a pick at 22 that's going to shift the direction of this franchise, and Tibbs hates to play rookie, so this one is sort of a shoulder shrug. Honestly, between me and you, I think that they should just fire Tibbs and start over. Bye! Grayson is one of the most famous players in the draft and also one of the most athletic, yet somehow he's one of the more unpredictable commodities. He's a guy that's played under pressure his entire career and has decent size for a shot maker, and he could develop as a defender with that athleticism. He could be a nice piece here and add some much needed perimeter depth, which everybody needs. Malik Newman, in my opinion, is one of the more underrated players in the draft. He needs to improve as a playmaker for a guy his size, but Newman was a 41% shooter from 3, and he's got that bucket getter gene, and he'd likely benefit from the pace of play in the NBA. I think at the very least, he's a rotation guy that can come in and get his own offense when necessary. Spellman is a high-energy, defensively versatile stretch 4 that can also bang. He's a good athlete. He's in the body mold of Maurice Spates, and he could be a nice balancing piece to Miles Turner. The Oregon freshman won't have to travel far because his athleticism and motor would be a great addition to the Blazers' second unit. Daily practice against Dame and McCollum could be the perfect pressure cooker to grow Troy's game. Mitchell Robinson is a volatile proposition in the first round because of questions of basketball IQ and of personality, but for his upside, he's a safe bet at 25, and I think somebody's going to snag him. Landry Shamet from Wichita State is the type of scorer and facilitator that could keep the offensive continuity going if Simmons and Fultz aren't on the court. Like I said, I thought a big versatile guard would be a good pick for them at 10, but this would be a good option for them at 26 to fill that need. Jared Vanderbilt is basically Jordan Bell, but with exceptional court vision for a guy his size, excellent hoops IQ and size, rebounds and defends well. That said, he hasn't been healthy in a long time. Health concerns make him a good bet for a team like Boston that has a secure future and culture. If he can get healthy, Vanderbilt is the type of guy that could heavily contribute to a winning team in the future. KBD, who was given a fantastic nickname by Mark Titus that I'll let you guys go discover on your own. I'll give you a hint. It involves eye-popping length. Could be a nice investment for a team looking for some perimeter depth and a versatile switching athletic defender. Iguodala would be the perfect mentor for KBD in my opinion, and I think the Warriors would do well to pick him up. Simons is one of the wider variance players in the draft. He's an electric athlete and largely an unknown to the average fan, but he's got a smooth, fluid game with a developing jumper, and he very well could have gone in the front half of the draft if he had played a year of college basketball to market his strengths. Brunson is a proven leader and winner with a consistent perimeter game and a surprising Mark Jackson-esque back-to-the-basket game for a guy his size. He's very much in the mold of a Shabazz Napier or a Tyus Jones. He'll be steady and a locker room presence for a Hawks team that's looking to form an identity going forward. So there you have it. That is my 2018 best fit, what I would do mock draft. Let me know who you guys want, who you don't want, and I hope everybody gets their man. So best of luck tomorrow night, everybody. Peace. Hey folks, I appreciate you watching, and if you like this video, click the like button and be sure to subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitter at JKyleMann. Say hey.